So I want to do a very quick video on how to report a doctor or dentist who's mistreated you. For a dentist, you would contact the uh, State Board of Dentistry, meaning like if it's Florida or California State Board of Dentistry, that's how you'd report them. You'd also call your insurance company, and you'd also tell the doctor that maybe referred you to them, and let them know they're not to have more people given over to them because they're horrible human beings. Because if you call the police, they won't do anything about it, which is weird. You think they at least take like a verbal record, not like them coming onto the scene or something, but just some type of verbal record of what happened so that you could report it and pull it up later and say, here's the time, here's the date, here's the, accusation, and that would be, I think, sufficient. But, just in case a courtroom needed more proof that it happened. So, there's a history of women being mistreated by the medical industry. And if you've ever, or the medical field, I should say, if you've ever had a child, they just kind of push you aside. They don't really care about your pain. They just treat you like, oh, okay, whatever. Your pain tolerance isn't very high. Stuff like this. Even if it almost cost you your life. Like I have a heart defect and my doctor knew that and they refused to schedule a cesarean for me, and it almost cost me my life because they just thought pushing my child out would be more like it's just more natural and it's just more healthy. And it's like, well, I have several different issues with my heart um I that I was born with. I don't understand why that math isn't done, or maybe even the psychological aspect of worrying if I can do something like that with my heart condition, but they don't care. They just kind of treat people like widgets or like numbers. Um, I'm going to put a video down below by Dr. Campbell, and basically, the government, especially in England, apparently feels the same way about the medical industry, or feel the same way about patients fighting the medical field and the medical industry. They just kind of push the patient aside and they don't care for us because we're not doctors. And apparently we know nothing, even though other doctors have knowledge right now and a lot of evidence. And even people in parliament who have been twice, given something or have been injured by the thing they were given twice in the last few years, and they have a voice. They're going to speak up. And the thing that I find the most disturbing about this video that I'm going to put below is the fact that he's speaking to nobody in parliament. There's nobody there. There's like 5 people because they knew what he was going to say and they chose not to be present because they understood their presence would appear as though they agree with something he's saying. So they chose not to even listen at all. And after he's done speaking at the end of the video, you'll hear behind glass. There's this big glass, I guess, where the public can stand and kind of look at Congress, their Congress, Parliament, whatever they're called. And basically, after he's done speaking, the people behind the glass cheer because they're feeling heard. They're feeling like somebody's speaking up for them, even in an empty room. Even in an empty room, to nobody, they feel heard by somebody. They know it's recorded. They've and then the chairwoman silences the people behind the glass, the general public who don't feel heard. And they're in parliament. They're trying to get the government to see and hear what the medical field has done to them. And nobody really seems to care. The people put in place to protect them are not. So it's a very disturbing video, but especially for women, the word hysteria and hysterectomy are closely correlated. And the reason why is because when women back in the day had hysterical fits, they thought all the emotions were in our uterus. So they would remove the uterus through a hysterectomy to remove our hysterical emotions and feelings. And when we're just going wild or crazy. And they kind of make you feel like you're second guessing yourself or they're gaslighting you or something. That's how the medical field is. And I know there are even women doctors who do this to you too. And I don't know if it's because of the how hard it is to get through medical school. Maybe it's just too hard. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe the residency type work they have to do where they don't sleep. What I'm saying is part of the oath is to do no harm. And a lot of harm is being done. And a lot of harm is being done with the information that's omitted, the information that's left out, with all the silence, with the fact people don't even have the resources to understand how to report a bad doctor. Um, there's just something very wrong with our medical field, and money is the priority. And I understand it's capitalism and all that, and I support capitalism, but I just feel like the doctor's focus ends up being treating people like they're just a physical thing and not an emotional and psychological being. Like there's some type of disconnect. I don't know if it's because they have a lot of information that they're always working on, or they're always having to find different angles, and they encounter a lot of wild patients who are hysterical. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something very wrong with not just the medical field, but the industry, the money aspect of it. There's so many levels of weird, and the fact that so many people feel like they can't fight malpractice or a bad doctor. So that's what the video is about. It's just me trying to explain steps to protect yourself from malpractice, and that you shouldn't take somebody who happens to be a doctor and their abuse uh, of you, knowing that they can do these things because they're a doctor and they have a type of prestige, um, and weight to what they're doing to you, that they're allowed to get away with it. They're not, that they shouldn't be allowed to. And this also includes the things that have happened to millions upon millions of people around the world. This is Linda of Crisis King forever. May God be with you.